The Hall of Famer, Thurman Thomas,
What's up?
who joins us. Hope you had a good Christmas, Thurm.
Had a great Christmas.
Get everything you needed there?
Everything.
Yeah.
And then some.
What's the
Oh,
best
yeah.
thing you ate yesterday? I asked Steve the same question. What's the best thing you ate yesterday?
Best
What did you enjoy the most?
thing that I ate yesterday was probably the wow. That's a
Long list.
it's a long list I had to go through because I'm going through like what we had, turkey, whatever. But man, I'm talking about like the desserts were nice.
Yeah, so that's right. That's okay. You can
Start
go-
with dessert.
Doesn't matter the course, just what you like the
Is
most.
what you like the most. So I'm gonna have to go with dessert, and I'm still trying to figure out who sent Mrs. Fields cookies to our house.
Oh,
And
Oh, nice.
well, that's a nice surprise.
oh yeah, I mean it was a batch. They were gone within probably 12 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a pie guy?
Not really.
Not really?
Not
No?
really. No.
Okay.
My wife Patty makes some good apple pies, and I usually eat like the crust.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like a crust guy. So
Okay. Fair enough.
yeah. Plus, probably dessert was the best thing for me.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair
Figure we
enough.
just check in, get the temperature of the room. 2 seed on the line here this week, Therm. Bills need to win to clinch the 2 seed in the AFC because Chiefs wrapped up the top seed winning yesterday, as you know. So just your thoughts, like gunning for that is worthwhile, right? You get 2 home games that way.
Yeah, I think so too. And even though Kansas City has in the last couple of weeks have just kind of turned it on a little
Yeah,
bit.
put it in gear.
Yeah, they kind of put it in gear a little bit. So yeah, getting the 2 seed, and man, you're thinking after the way they played this year, but they've turned it on the last couple of weeks. That if somebody goes in there and beats them, then Buffalo has a home field advantage, for the rest of the playoffs. But yeah, I mean the 2 seeds is you get to play 2 home games, and but it's still in that area where you have to win one more game, like.
So you
Yeah.
just
And
gotta
you have,
go.
and you have to go because you don't want to go 1, 2, 3 weeks in the playoffs and not doing anything, right? So yeah, I think this is, and there's a lot to play for. Like I said, the 2 seed, and then you can rest your guys the following week. But I think James Cook is right there getting 1,000 yards. Josh
some-
with
yeah, there's
touchdowns.
some-
So
there's
there's some
some injury.
MVP and some awards to be had still, and for me, hey, you go play them. You're still trying to lock up the number 2 seed.
I said this just before you came on. People think, well, if they give them some time off, they're going to come back rusty. I don't see it. I don't see any of these the top teams. Kansas City's certainly not going to show up rusty. They showed up playing with their food for 2 months.
Yeah.
They got a gear nobody else has. I mean, they got a gear nobody else has got. They turn it on. They stayed close enough to win, or they just beat you. They give you enough to beat you. The Bills, I think we've seen, in even particularly with this last week where they showed up in a game that was meaningless, they got an engine. They played half a game and won.
Right.
Same thing. When they turn it on, they can beat Kansas City and they beat Detroit. I mean, they got a big engine. I just think when they get ready and they know they've got a game, they got to win. They've got a process that can get them ready to play. So I don't worry too much about a team like Kansas City or Buffalo or Baltimore taking a week or something off and then showing up flat. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen with the Bills either. I mean, they've been this way throughout the entire football season. They've been right there, averaging over 30 points in a game. Yeah, the defense not so good at certain times, but these guys know. And Josh hasn't had Keon Coleman, so you want that chemistry to try to get back together. So I mean, when you talk about the top 3 teams, I don't think a week or so is going to hurt these teams at all. But I think it's a time for us to get healthier. I mean, I want Matt Milano to play into the playoffs. I want guys like that
That's what
to
happened
be able,
last year.
and give him a little bit more time to rest and relax. So, but I think with this team and with Josh and with the way that they have performed this year, I mean, they've pretty much been on every single game, no matter who's been in there. I mean, Kincaid missed how many games this year?
Missed 3.
Yeah, 3.
3, and Coleman missed 4 or 5. So, I mean, that's kind of part of your offense. But Dawson Knox came to play, started putting them more involved. So,
Mac Hollins has
man,
been
yeah,
good.
Mac Hollins.
Shakir's been
Mac
great.
Hollins, I'm like, by the way, Mac, my son-in-law loves you, man. I mean, it's this team here is, And Josh has been on time and on pass. This offense has had a rhythm throughout the entire year. So, maybe that last game of the year is to rest some of their guys.
All right, so Jets up this week, and we know the Jets and the Bills don't really care for each other too much. There's a little animosity there. James Cook didn't play in the first meeting. He missed that game.
But Ray had a nice day.
Yeah, Ray came out. That first drive, I'm sure you remember it well since it was 8 runs on 9 plays. How do you kind of see this, and how does James being in the lineup kind of change the dynamic of what the Jets have to prepare for here running-wise? Because he's much different than Ray.
Oh, he's way much different than Ray. Yeah, I think, their middle linebackers, who are they? Oh, I don't even know who they are.
It's Quincy Williams.
Because
C.J. Mosley's he's on IR.
Yeah.
So Jamie and Sherwood and Quincy Williams are the 2 inside backers.
Yeah, so I mean it's going to be well to see them playing because the Jets have always given Josh and our Bills offense a little trouble. I mean, they got a nice defense over there, and they play very, very well, and it seems like they have the right scheme that matches up well against us. But like you say, James didn't play in the first game, but Ray had an outstanding game. So, it's good to see that you're Joe Brady and you have, they haven't seen James this year doing what he's done besides watching it on film. So, I think he's going to have an outstanding game. I want him to have an outstanding game. And he creates a dilemma in the passing game also for who's going to be covering him.
Yeah, we've been having this conversation about, you want to show it. Best case scenario, you show up, you score 28 points in the first quarter and a half, and then you can coast in. And knowing the Jets are going to struggle to score points and or hopefully struggle to score points, and that's then you go into Week 18, you can do whatever you want. But the Jets got something to say about it, and you know that. It's going to be risky. You're going to play Josh hard for 4 quarters. You're going to play all these guys. Now, that's what they signed up for, and it's been fine. This is in Week 1. This is Week 17, so it's been a year like it has been. It's hard to convey how much you want to push the throttle forward and, push the, if you're McDermott and these guys, push this team hard to get them into this game and win this game and then think about Week 18.
Yeah, well, the Jets are going to – I think the Jets are going to come out. They know they may match up well against the Bills, number one. And they're – and like any other team, they're looking to try to screw your season up anyway.
Yeah. Right.
They are looking – those guys, Quentin Williams, he's going to come to play.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to come to play. Sauce, Gardner, those guys are going to come to play and to say, hey, look, our season hasn't been going the way that we thought it should be going. So, we still have a lot to play for. They got bonuses and all this type of thing, incentives in their contract. So, an opportunity for them to come out here and, wreak havoc and having the Bills to play that last game is something that those teams look forward to, especially when you're out of the playoffs.
Right.
Last week, we heard Josh after the game say the team is in a tricky spot and gave indication that they were leaving some things in the bag, scheme-wise and stuff like that. Do you remember there ever being a time where you guys down the stretch, if you had your seed locked up, where the coaches in a given week getting ready for a game plan said, hey, look, we're going to bare bones this one because we want to save some of our stuff for the playoffs? You ever remember a time taking that approach? This is a difficult needle to thread here because you want your team to get healthy.
Yeah.
You want them to be rested, but you got to win this game this week. You got to kind of go in full guns blazing.
I think it's a difference with this football team than it is with ours because we had a lot of plays, but we didn't run a lot of plays.
Yeah.
We ran the same plays almost
right.
all the
That's
time.
A good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So with this right here, you have all type of things that they're doing on offense right now that really, and so we didn't have to really worry about, let's put back a throwback in the gym. No, we don't need to do that because we never did that
and
before.
A lot of our good stuff on a week-to-week basis was wrinkles off of stuff we did really well anyway.
Right.
Where you just add a wrinkle to a couple of the plays that we already ran really well, and if they sold out to stop, which they did have to sell out. You got the biggest and baddest offensive line. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame running back, and two Hall of Fame wideouts. They had to sell out to stop some of those matchups, and when they sell out, the wrinkle takes advantage of it, and you're off and running, and you're snapping off big plays right and left. this in this day and age, teams have got to take big sections of their playbook and lay it over here for the day, you know. Whether it be personnel combinations.
I'm just wondering if this week, because you need the win, is any different than last week. And if last week keeping things in the bag was predicated more on the fact that you have to play that team again next week. Or if it was more predicated on holding stuff back and keeping it under the vest to use in the postseason. I'm wondering what the motivation was if they were holding it back. Any theories?
I don't have any. You have any?
No. Yeah,
because I think you got to let it all hang out this week. You want to win this football game. I mean, obviously, if you get up early, you know you can take your.
I think you have to play well in this football game.
Yeah.
You don't want to go 2 weeks in a row not playing well.
Yeah.
And then think all of a sudden you can which I think they could, but it would be a much more struggle if they.
Yeah. Not a game you want to play.
Not a game that you want to play. Yeah. So yeah, I'm all in.
Okay.
I'm all in with this game here, and hopefully we can jump out to that 14-0 league instead of New England jumping out on us to 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I think with that last week with New England, kind of scared me a little bit. It kind of scared me a little bit that we got behind, and then we had to turn it on. Like this is
their ability to turn it on is impressive.
It is impressive.
It's impressive.
It is impressive.
That ain't easy.
Because no, it ain't easy. But sometimes it just don't work that way.
That's right.
It just doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way a
Yeah.
lot of times, and that's why you come out flat, you lose.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Bills didn't let that happen last week, and James Cook made was a big part of that. But I'm with you. You want to do that the reverse. You want to take the second half off, not the first half off, right?
Yes.
So, this whole how much you really have to do to win, that you want to do just barely enough to, right? But if you do that, even if you knew exactly that, you're still risking one play going wrong and you lose.
Going wrong, right? Yeah. Yeah, you want to be smiling walking up to the football field, but smiling in a
I'll say
good
this
way
too.
of playing well.
The players know. It's not like the coaches can do this too, because you figure, all right, coaches are going to get your, but they're going to say, all right, we're only going to use this much though. Players know. They go, listen, you ain't pulling. I know if you're not going to give us what we need to win, you know what I mean?
To win order, win the game, right? Yeah.
The players know. So as soon as they know you're like not really going full speed, they're like, oh, well, I ain't gonna go full speed. You know what I mean?
They know it from the first day that they walk into
takes
the
the
meeting.
edge off.
When they first walk into the meeting, they know the plays on it. It's like, okay, we're going for it.
Yeah.
We're not. You're looking at the sheet, going like, okay, we're playing
tell.
this week. Yeah, there's no plays on.
There's so much into preparation that if you're not fully 1,000%, we got to win this game. The players feel it.
Yeah.
They feel it. They know it. They can see it. They're like, and they start looking sideways. He says, "Okay, cool, man.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
I'm
to go.
like, yeah.
Keep the same rotation. Let's
Yeah,
keep doing what we have to
right.
do. And hey, if we have to use James a little bit more, or we have to use
Right.
Ray a little bit more, let's do it. Let's go for it.
I'm with you. I think it's you got to kind of go for it. You got to tell them up front, say, listen, we are going to win this game. You're going to play, and you're going to play hard. And we're going to go full. We're going to go full game plan. Let's go, and that's how you get them to show up sharp.
Yeah.
I don't know when you pull the plug on that. Once but
I will say this about this football team. Even though they're fighting for that, the number 2 seeds, whatever.
Right.
But I think even with this football team, I think they're at a point now where they don't really care where they play. They would love to play at home.
Sure.
But if we got to go on the road, that's fine too. Because I think they're kind of built for that way too now. That they play well at home.
They're unbeaten at home, though. I'd rather have them at home.
I get it. No, I'm just saying the mindset.
Yeah.
We don't care where we play.
We're
a damn good football team, and we're ready to play. We can go head to head with everybody. Yes, we would love to be at home, but if we got to go on the road, so be it.
Fans
we
don't
feel like
believe-
we can go in there and win.
Fans don't believe that, but I know you're right. They're like going, because I feel that way. This team will go anywhere and play anybody and win.
Yeah,
You
I feel
went
that way.
right into Detroit and kicked them in the teeth.
Right in there.
Kicked them in the teeth.
Yeah. And that play
that's-
started from the first game,
Yeah.
first snap of the season.
Right. So
game with Ed Oliver.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I think that is that's under the hood.
Yeah.
And I think if they do go on the road, I think they're gonna be a really tough team to beat, even if they are on the road.
Yeah.
It's better if they're at home, no question. Nobody's saying it's not. But
And
But
that
if it-
doesn't always guarantee anything either.
Absolutely.
As we just witnessed last season in
That's
the
right.
postseason. So,
Yeah.
So I'm totally. Yeah, this team is a little bit. There's a couple of teams like this. Kansas City certainly is like this. I know this team is like this. I imagine Baltimore's a little bit like this because of what they've been through in the postseason with Lamar winning one game in his whole career in the playoffs. Detroit's kind of like this.
Yeah.
Philly. These teams are like going, just get us in.
Right.
Please, I'm tired of playing the Patriots at 3-11 in week 15. Give me a game that means something. And I think all these teams are in that boat. Home or away, just get me to the stinking playoffs so I can stop playing
Yeah.
the 3-12 Jets. Just give me a good team
Yeah.
that means something.
And I don't
like the Detroit game we saw.
Yeah, I don't like to go back a lot, but God, I think I said it last week. I would love to play Houston over again. If it's a one game out of the season, I would love to have back. And if we,
I said it all.
if we
They
win
didn't
that
even
game,
impress me
this
then.
game, it still means the same.
Yeah.
It would still mean the same. Oh boy.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
But I'm very confident in this football team.
I
I'm
am
very
too.
confident.
I am too.
Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of, and we know how fans think. They think differently than players, but I think they're just saying, let's just get the 2.
Yeah.
So in the divisional playoff, if we're playing
No doubt.
Baltimore, it's here
Yeah.
and not in Baltimore.
I get it. Yes.
I think anybody would want to take that. Like, let's play him here.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out to
Absolutely.
Baltimore and play that dang team again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Annoying fans. Sorry, I got a
Oh,
little
no,
personal
I
there.
know that's all right. I mean, but I tell you what, the top 3 teams in each league are, I think, fantastic.
And it's
go-
clear- and
it
it's
is
pretty
going to
clear
be-
cut,
it-
right?
It is
Very-
pretty clear cut.
It's Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore. And in the NFC, it's Detroit, Philly, and Minnesota.
In Minnesota, yeah,
All of those have 12 and 13 wins.
yeah. So I mean, it's
all those
top
teams.
3 seeds right
and,
there.
And Kansas City with 14. So, Baltimore. Now, I'll say this about Baltimore: they lost. They're 10 and
No,
5.
they're 11 and 5.
11 and 5. And if they struggled out of the gate this year a little bit. They got beat by Kansas City, which is not a struggle, but remember the guy had his toe on the line
Oh,
for
that's
the win.
right, for the win.
Week 2, they got their heads handed to them by the Raiders. So there's that
That
on
was
their
one of the
schedule.
Raiders' two-
Then they got beat by the Browns in Week 8. So then they got Steelers. They got beat by
You know how
the Philly.
division
They,
games
they
are,
got
though.
those. But man, oh man,
Yeah, they kind of
it's
hurt themselves.
those are all those teams we just made. Those half dozen teams. Super Bowl winners
Yeah.
coming out of that.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about like Houston, Denver, or Pittsburgh.
L.A., Denver.
I'm not
Pittsburgh.
not even remotely worried about those teams because I just think the top 3 teams in the AFC and the NFC, somewhere in there, you're going to see 2 of those teams in the Super Bowl.
Right.
I don't know
Right.
which ones, but
Yeah.
obviously I want ours to be there. But from the NFC, it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
I think so.
You think any of those in the hunt teams like Indy or
Nah.
any of those Cincinnati
No.
somehow find a way in?
I
Yeah, he
think
said
I
this-
think they're done.
Yeah.
They
I
got
think
8
they're done.
losses.
Hey, I made the playoffs. We got a nice bonus. Fans got to see us or whatever. But I think their season
There's a
ended
hard
3 weeks ago.
There's a hard line of demarcation. There are teams with 8 losses, and then there's teams with 6 losses.
Right.
That's the line. Now Houston's in there because of the South. They're 9-7, but they're going to win that division.
Yeah. Same with
And-
Tampa Bay, right?
And
Almost.
Tampa Bay is
So-
they're at the 8th seed at 8-7.
Yeah. Even as good as Green Bay has been, I just don't think they can handle the top 3 teams. I think they're a good football team.
They can run it
They
up
are
now.
a good football team
They're good
that just
front
happen to
runners.
be in an era right now where there's a couple other teams that are kind of a little bit better. Than
Yeah,
you.
the crazy thing is here's a really crazy one. If Detroit wins the division, that means that Minnesota
Yep.
is the 5 because the 4 division winners are the top 4. So that means Minnesota at like 13-4 or 14-3 is going to be the 5 seed and have to go on the road and play probably Atlanta or the Rams
Or Tampa Bay.
as a 14-win team. Come on now.
He's
Yeah,
definitely
that's-
looking for a blowout
seems
there, right?
wrong.
Yeah, it does seem wrong.
Seems wrong.
But that division is tough now.
Well, yeah.
It is tough, but
And
man,
Atlanta is, and the NFC South is a tire fire. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, they're all 500 clubs. You know.
I mean, Tampa's still in the hunt. They're only behind Atlanta right now
One game-
because
they're-
they beat them head to head the first time. I mean,
yeah,
jeez.
I'm glad we're in the AFC.
Yeah.
Glad we're in the AFC.
All right, Thurman. Well, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate
Absolutely,
it,
man.
good to
Yeah.
see you. Glad you and your family had a good Christmas.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year to you. In case we
Same
don't
to
see you.
Go Bills.